Hello viewers, students and aspirants. I welcome you back to Arif Khan's School of Political Science. Our topic is fundamental rights. But before we deliberate on fundamental rights, let us have certain basic understanding of rights. Right. A right is a just or reasonable claim of an individual recognized by the society and enforced by the state. Rights are necessary conditions for the development of personality of an individual. It is a freedom to act or not to act in a certain fashion. So rights involves duty to permit same freedoms to others. As Lasky correctly observes, without rights there cannot be liberty, and every state is known by the rights it maintains. The modern conceptions of rights are either universalist or egalitarian, that is, all people have equal rights. There are two major modern conceptions of rights: natural rights and legal rights. So far as natural rights are concerned, the idea of natural rights holds that there are certain rights enshrined in the nature that cannot be legitimately modified by any human power. Human rights can be enumerated here. Then there is second conception. First was natural rights. Then there is second major conception of modern rights, that is legal rights. The idea of legal rights holds the view that there are rights which are human constructs created by the society and enforced by the governments, subject to change and regulations. Such a concept of rights is dynamic. The concept of fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution draws leanings from this legal conception, from this modern legal conception of rights. Then there are not only fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution, there are also ordinary legal rights. Then where is the difference between fundamental rights and legal rights? Fundamental rights are actually directly enforceable in the courts. In case of their violation, you can directly approach Supreme Court under Article 32. You can also get them enforced through the writs issued by the high courts. But in case of a violation of ordinary legal rights, you can only approach High Court. The power of Supreme Court under Article 32 is fundamental right. It may not refuse to issue the writs, but the power of High Court under Article 226 for issuing writs for the violation of fundamental rights or ordinary legal rights is discretionary. That is, it may refuse to issue or it may not issue the writs. Now let us come to the concept of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights, FRs. So far as the concept of fundamental rights is concerned, fundamental rights are fundamental in the sense that they ensure political democracy. Political democracy. Prevent the establishment of authoritarian and despotic rule in the country. They protect the liberties and freedoms of the people in the country. They operate as limitations on the tyranny of the executive and the laws, arbitrary laws of the legislature. They are guaranteed and protected by the Constitution. In short, they aim at establishing government of laws. Government of laws, not of men. They are also fundamental in the sense that they ensure all-round development, that's material, intellectual, moral and spiritual of the individual. They are enforceable and justiciable in court. In India, the demand for fundamental rights for the first time was made in Nehru Report of 1928. Nehru Report of 1928, but were rejected by the Simon Commission and the Joint Parliamentary Committee, on whose recommendations the Government of India Act 1935 was formed. In India, the chapter on fundamental rights is included in Part 3rd, covering Articles 12 to 35, Articles 12 to 35. This chapter of fundamental rights is inspired from the Constitution of USA, that is Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments to the US Constitution forms the Bill of Rights, which in turn were influenced and inspired by the Magna Carta of 1215, by the English Bill of Rights 1689, and the Declaration of Virginia 1776. This chapter on fundamental rights is known as the Magna Carta of India. Magna Carta of India, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has rightly described them as the heart and soul of the Constitution. Heart and soul of the Constitution. At present, originally, the Constitution of India consisted of 7 fundamental rights, but at present there are only 6 fundamental rights, since right to property has been removed and inserted as the legal right. Now, as I have already mentioned, that the Constitution of India covers fundamental rights from Articles 12 to 35. Article 12 deals with the definition of the state. That is, it enumerates or mentions about the potential violators of the state, that is different agencies of the state, legal or non-legal. Then it enumerates the potential violators of fundamental rights. It talks about both aggrieved party as well as the party grieved against. Then there is Article 13 that deals with the laws which are inconsistent with fundamental rights or which are derogatory to fundamental rights. Now let us take up the 6 categories of fundamental rights in the Constitution which are at present there as fundamental rights. The first category of rights includes a right to equality. Right to equality. Articles 14 to 18 deal with the right to equality. So far as Article 14 is concerned, it provides for equality before law and equal protection of laws. So far as equality before law is concerned, it is British origin. It's British originated. It refers to the absence of special privileges. So far as equal protection of laws is concerned, it's American origin. It refers to equal treatment in equal circumstances. Then there is Article 15. Article 15 prohibits discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Place of birth. Through the subsequent Supreme Court judgments as well as by the recommendations of the Commission to Review the Constitution 2002, ethnic and social group, political grouping as grounds has also been added to this Article 15. Then there is Article 16 that provides for equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. Then there is Article 17 that prohibits untouchability. Untouchability. It abolishes untouchability and prohibits its practice. That means both thinking in terms of untouchability as well as its practice are banned. Then there is Article 18 that provides for abolition of titles except military and academic. It bars the citizens of India from accepting titles from from other states without the consent of the president. It also bars conferment of hereditary titles like Maharaja, Diwan, etc. But the Supreme Court of India has upheld the constitutional validity of the national awards of Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan and Padma Shri. These awards were instituted in 1954 but then stopped by Morarji Desai government in 1977, then again revived by Indira government in 1980-81. Now let us come to the second category of rights, that is right to freedom. Articles 19 to 22 deal with this part of rights. Article 19 provides for 6 freedoms. That's right to freedom of speech and expression. Article 19 provides for 6 types of freedoms. That's right to freedom of speech and expression. Right to assemble peacefully. Then right to assemble peacefully without arms. Then it gives right to freedom to form associations or unions. Then it also gives right to move in any part of territory of India. Move in any part of territory of India. Then in Article 19E, it gives the freedom to reside or settle in any part of territory of India. Then in Article F, it gives the right to freedom to adopt and practice profession of one's choice. Adopt and practice profession of one's choice. Originally, this Article 19F also included right of every person to acquire, uphold and dispose of property. That together with Article 31 formed right to property, that now stands removed and inserted as the legal right. Then there is Article 20 under this category of right to freedom. Article 20 gives protection in respect of offences, in respect of conviction for offences, like excessive punishment or arbitrary punishment of any person, whether citizen or foreigner. It also talks about the legal person, that's company and corporation. Then there is Article 21. Article 21 provides for the protection of life and personal liberty. Life and personal liberty. Meanwhile, the right to life is a fundamental right of every person and it cannot be violated. If violated, it is enforceable and justifiable through courts of law. Then it also gives personal liberty. This Article 21 has also been expanded through subsequent judgments and the recommendations of law, this Commission 2002. It has now the new provisions added in it are the provisions like right to privacy, then free press and media, etc. Then there is Article 21A. It provides for right to elementary education between the age groups 6 to 14 years. It was inserted through 86th Amendment Act. 86th Amendment Act in 2002, when right to elementary education was made a fundamental right. Then there is Article 22 in this right to freedom category. Article 22 gives protection against detention. It gives protection against both punitive and preventive detention. Then there is third category of rights, that is right against exploitation. The third category of rights includes right against exploitation. Articles 23 and 24 deal with this third category of rights, that is right against exploitation. Article 23 provides, or it prohibits, traffic in human beings and forced labor. Let's expand it a bit. So far as traffic in human beings, it includes flesh trade, immoral activities, trade in human beings. Then forced labor is to compel a person to labor against his will or to labor not of his choice. This has been prohibited via this Article 23 by the chapter of fundamental rights. Then if this forced labor, it persists for the life of a person, then it becomes bonded labor. Both bonded labor and forced labor are automatically barred by the Constitution. Then there is Article 24. It prohibits child labor. It prohibits the employment of children in any factory or any other hazardous employment below the age of 14 years. Then there is fourth category of rights, that is right to freedom of religion. Right to freedom of religion. Articles 25 to 28 deal with this category of rights. So far as Article 25 is concerned, Article 25 provides for freedom of conscience, free profession, practice and propagation of religion. When we say freedom of conscience, it even gives you a freedom to choose religion. Then it's profession, practice and propagation. That's your fundamental right, via this right to freedom of religion under Article 25. Then there is Article 26. Under Article 26, there is freedom to manage religious affairs. Freedom to manage religious affairs. It gives you the freedom to manage religious institutions, to manage religious seminaries, to manage places of worship, etc. Then there is Article 27 that gives you freedom from payment of taxes. Freedom from payment of taxes for promoting any religion. It means that you can promote a religion of your choice, and for that you need not to pay the taxes to the government. Then there is Article 28. Article 28 gives freedom from attending religious instruction. Religious instruction in certain educational institutions wholly maintained out of state funds. But there are certain exceptions. The institutions administered by the state but governed through a trust or an endowment. In such institutions, religious instruction is permitted. Then there are institutions recognized by the state, aided by the state. In such institutions, the religious instruction is voluntary. Then there is fifth category of rights, that includes cultural and educational rights. The fifth category of rights includes cultural and educational rights. Cultural and educational rights under Articles 29 and 30. So far as Article 29 is concerned, it gives protection to the language, script and culture of minorities. It provides for the protection of language, script and culture of minorities. Then there is Article 30. Article 30 gives the right to manage and establish educational institutions to minorities. Right to manage and establish educational institutions to minorities. Then again, this Article 30, its scope has been widened, that has been broadened. Now Article 30A and 30B had been added to it. So far as Article 30A is concerned, it provides for right to justice. You can move the tribunals for getting justice. Then there is Article 30B that provides right to free legal aid. Here we completed our fundamental rights part first. For more videos, like, subscribe and share, and keep watching Arif Khan School of Political Science.